Hi, I'm Julia Etherington. I'm here in North Devon in the town of Barnstaple, which is steeped in history, but where locals say they have problems with antisocial behaviour and vandalism. Some even say the police have lost control of the town.
So we often get groups of teenage kids around here throwing litter, banging on the windows. We had a quite large incident in December where a group of children came down and smashed up one of our chalkboard signs. They kicked it into the air and it came back down and shattered all over the floor. £150 is quite a big loss for a smaller business. So my beauty room is upstairs. I heard the commotion, so I came straight down to obviously see if everyone was okay, because it was a very, very loud bang. Obviously I saw the children outside swearing, sticking their fingers up and all sorts, so I came out of the salon, followed them out of Holland Walk, and they sort of just ran around that car park over there for a good 20 minutes. And then when I'd finally managed to catch up with one of them, three more sort of came in and children being children they are nowadays, they're not easy to reason with at all. You get a lot more abuse, a lot of threats. Luckily we had a member of the public with his wife basically saying, do the right thing, lads, you know, you need to go back with this woman and sort out what you've done.
It's just they want a lot for people to do. That's what I blame it on.
Yeah.
So it's not the people themselves, it's places for them to go and things to do.
Yeah, people yelling, I suppose, because of this kind of like drunk behaviour, or maybe this kind of gang behaviour that there can sometimes be with some of the younger groups. I found that they tend to antagonise just really anybody, and they'll try and get away with stuff. I've seen the older generation kind of sometimes lash back and say, what are you doing? You can't do that, you shouldn't do that, you know, like, you can't go around yelling that in the street, and so they'll say things like that to the younger generation.
Yeah, especially now, with like half term and that, you know, you have groups of lads that are a little bit out of control, and the police have to come deal with them. Yeah, you do get that, yeah. I mean, it used to happen by the library a lot.
Oh right, yeah.
Because they used to use the Wi-Fi there by the library, isn't it, with their music in it, and then they would kick off there.
The children that I caught up with came back with us. We called the police, one police officer showed up with a community support officer and took a statement from the children, as well as the other staff members, myself and some of the clients in the salon who witnessed it. And then the kids were then let back out, and then the following weeks after that they all walked up and down this Holland Walk trying to intimidate. Obviously doesn't work very well. It's just not nice sometimes, especially when you're coming out of the salon late at night, and we've got some elderly clients who get a bit more timid as well. The children that came in that destroyed the sign that day, turns out they were between the ages of 14 to 16.
I'm really sad about the fact that the town seems to be closing down in lots of places. You're seeing sort of, you know, charity shops taking up, which that's great for them, but obviously a lot of the independents are disappearing, and I find that very sad.
Oh, I saw another window smashed as well. I know the Ewins has had a window smashed before, and yes, it was down here somewhere. It's probably what happens, like, I don't know, after hours maybe, because I don't really witness it in the day.
General louty behaviour, people being drunk at before 12 o'clock, people easily throwing God knows whatever on the floor. That kind of is embarrassing, especially when we live in a very naturally beautiful area, to think that people would quite easily throw that away just because they're in a town and it doesn't affect it.
It's very, in my eyes, it's wrong. I mean, we've all been a naughty child at some point, but there is a borderline between being naughty and criminal acts. So it kind of made me feel quite angry. Like I said, it's a small business run by my mother. You know, we don't get big government grants or anything like that, so anything that is vandalised, it comes out of the owner's pocket rather than company money. So it's very annoying, it's quite angering. I think for some other women as well, it can be quite intimidating, especially when these kids are running around in very large groups.
I feel very sad for them, because I don't know what they're supposed to do, really. It's a very difficult one, isn't it? Because a lot of people, after the pandemic and unemployment, what are they supposed to do if they haven't got the money? So my heart goes out to them, really, to be honest. I don't know what the solution is. I think the government should be focusing more on the homeless personally and putting, you know, much more funds that way to help them out.
Well, those guys there now, right? Now, they've been pushed off the high street. They've been pushed off the high street. Now they're on Holland Walk, yeah, so... And the thing is, that guy's in a bad place. He's got the one little guy that sits there, he's got autism, so he struggles with life. He's been in and out of prison. And they pushed him off the high street, so he's in that alleyway there. But yeah, that, I don't know, it shouldn't be happening really in that alleyway, but that's not up to me, you know, to decide.
I've had people get a little handsy and they'll just reach down or go to put money in, or people ask me for money, which as far as I know, if there is a person who is begging or homeless, they're not supposed to be on the main high street and they're not supposed to ask for money. They're supposed to just essentially sit there and assume people are that charitable. But they will happily come over to me, I'm going to put this in quotation marks, working a job, if you know what I mean. You know, like I do this as a profession, this is part of it. And they'll come over to me and just assume that I'm lumped in with them, and they'll be like, oh, can I borrow £3, can I borrow £4? And it's like, and they'll just assume that they can. And I'll be like, no, this isn't how it works. I'm stood here working my off, and you can't just come over and assume that this money is yours, you know. It's not the same. And people do get aggy. People say, can I use the microphone, especially if they're drunk? Can I say something? Can I do this? And it's like, you wouldn't do that in any other profession. You wouldn't say, oh, I'll be a waiter for the next table actually, and I'll assume that I know how to do something. You can't do that. So it can get a little frustrating. I would say it's alcohol consistently is the problem. Not that there's masses of it in the area, but that is, if there ever is a cause, it's almost always alcohol. In terms of vandalism, probably alcohol again. People bashing into the windows. I've seen people break so many. Outside Fever and any one of the local pubs, to be honest.
Well, I mean, I just think there could be some nicer green areas. They could perhaps, for the youngsters, create some areas for them.
Yeah.
I know other places they've got skateboarding places for them to play around. I always feel quite aggrieved. There are so many properties around about the country that are just left to go derelict, and because it's costly, nobody wants to do anything with them. And I get very incensed when we keep building and building new and new and new, and we're not even addressing the old properties that we could spend a bit of money on and house a lot of these people. Why aren't we doing that? Why aren't we putting some funding? Why are we just letting these buildings just, you know, decay, basically?
Yeah? You work for the council, yeah?
Right.